Good morning. My name is Mallory Seidel. My husband Christian and I have been longtime supporters of the Enlighten Foundation and just strongly believe in all they do to empower and nurture women all over the world. And this morning I'm going to just do a quick chocolate chip cookie recipe. It is something that is really easy to do with your kids or at home. It only makes about 12 cookies, which I think is the perfect amount. And it can be a great gift for neighbors. I feel like at this time, sometimes just a little baked good on someone's front doorstep can just really make their day. So it is your basic chocolate chip cookie recipe. So let me run through some of the ingredients. We've got a stick of salted butter, salt, baking soda, not powder, flour, sugar, brown sugar, chocolate chips, 1 egg, and vanilla. It's very easy, so I'm just gonna run through it step by step. And my favorite part about this is you don't need a mixer or anything. So just enjoy the time. If you have little ones, pull up a chair and let them do the stirring. I will warn you, they will eat the dough. So we're gonna start with, go ahead and melt your butter. This is just so it mixes together really well. You want to make sure it's melted but not hot. If it's hot, it will scramble the egg. You don't want that. So melt your butter, and then we add the sugars. So I have a 1/4 cup of brown sugar and a 1/2 cup of white sugar. And go ahead and mix those two together. Super simple. So once you've got those two mixed in, you're gonna add 1 egg. Now, this recipe is a little bit different than what's on, I know everybody loves the Nestle Toll House recipe. This one's a little bit different, and I don't make any changes for high altitude. So I'm not adding water or increasing the flour or anything. You just wanna, and we'll have this recipe on the Enlighten Foundation blog for you. I'm gonna add a teaspoon of vanilla, my favorite part. Just smells so delicious. And then go ahead and get that all mixed up. Then you have all your wet ingredients combined. And you're all set there. So from there, we're gonna add, this is a 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda, a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. I added a little extra because I like that kick. And then this is 1.5 cups of flour. Whoop. My husband loves when I make cookies because he's like, I don't understand how flour gets everywhere in the house. Yeah, what can you do? So we mix it up. And you want to make sure the consistency seems a little bit dry. You don't want wet. So once we get this all mixed up, I'll give you a close-up look of what it looks like. And we're almost there. Now here is what your dough is gonna look like. The trick is that it isn't too wet and kind of breaks apart a little bit, but still holds its shape. Then we have 3/4 cup of chocolate chips. And this is my favorite part because the best way to mix in your chips is just with your hands. Also the most fun for kiddos. So with these chocolate chip cookies, my recommendation is go big or go home. You don't need little chocolate chip cookies. What's the point? I have this silicone mat, which I love for baking. Wipes down super easy, can go in the dishwasher, is just one of the best things I've ever purchased for the kitchen. Just place that on your baking pan, and you're going to make substantial size chocolate chip cookies. That way, you don't feel so bad when you eat 1 or 4. You ate 4, but it was really like 6, but no one needs to know that. So you just make, I usually bake about 6 at a time, and then from there, you're gonna put them in the oven at 350 for about 12 minutes. We'll talk more about the most important part of this recipe, which would be you kind of have to underbake them a little bit. It scares people because they don't think they're done, but this way they last a lot longer. You have chewy, gooey chocolate chip cookies for days on end. So we'll show you that in just a minute. All right, these guys are going in the oven. It's been about 12 minutes, so we're gonna check on the cookies. And they look absolutely perfect. Golden brown and delicious. Now I'm just gonna place them on a cooling rack for a little bit. These little bundles of joy. And once they cool, well, if you're like me, you would be eating one right now while it's too hot and probably gonna melt in your hands, but it's the whole point. Once they cool a little bit, one of my favorite things is to just grab a little basket or something you have around your house, and as you go meet with family and spend time sharing joy and love with one another, you can just pack them up. And spread joy with your neighbors, family, friends. In this time, it's super important to just love one another and love one another well. And I think a chocolate chip cookie says, I love you and I'm thinking about you. So enjoy them, and thanks for joining today.